Okay, so this one's going to be covering mortgages and like a bit of history, okay? So if you speak to people, say like in their 50s or late 50s and older, they'll tell you about, you know, how they bought their first house for 36 grand, you know, 30 years ago, 33 years ago, for example, and about how it's worth 360 now, you know. Like, inflation's tripled since, roughly. So let's say inflation's averaged 3.15% over the last 100 years. Basically, that's from 1900 to year 2000. So inflation's averaged around 3.15% per year, which is 23 and a half years. It doubles every 23 and a half years, okay? So let's say inflation's tripled, but then house prices have 10x'd. How has that happened? Okay. It's because of interest rates. Okay. So I know a guy. Okay. He used to be a customer of mine. He bought his house for £85,000. Okay. Back in 1988. Okay. Now that same house is worth almost 500,000 quid. Okay. What he failed to mention, okay, or no one like really mentioned is this for some reason, is his interest rate on his mortgage would have been above 12%. Okay. So that 85,000, let's say he was paying 12% over a 30-year period, you'd have been paying around £1,050, £1,100 a month back then, okay, which is probably equivalent to, say, £3 grand a month now. Okay. So people fail to mention this, and now like I've probably got my numbers mixed up then. So yeah, 85,000 at 12% interest, paying around 1,050 a month. Whereas with like today's interest rates, would have been paying like maybe a year ago before they started going up, would have been paying around 360 a month. Same things. Now it's back then it was triple the payment because the interest rate was so high. Okay. So let's say you know someone who bought his first house for 30 grand 34 years ago or whatever, and now it's worth 300,000. It's 10x in price. That's because a 30-year mortgage with interest rates back then to compared to today would triple the cost. Okay, they'd triple the cost. So, like my customer, you know, he mentioned he bought his house for 85k, but he didn't mention his monthly mortgage payment was 1,050, did he? Okay, and like that same house now. It's worth around 480,000, so probably be paying around £2.5 grand a month now if you just bought the house, okay, and no equity in it. And took out the same mortgage term, okay. So from 1,050 a month to 2,550 a month, okay. That's like not even triple the payment, yet inflation's tripled. So you've got to factor that in, guys. Okay, so a lot of people talk about supply and demand and not enough houses being built, etc., etc. okay, but it's also interest rates, because that's like, you know, how affordability goes, you know. So like, say for example, if you look at like a 200 grand flat, okay, and think, right, okay, that on a 3% interest rate over 30 years would be around £900 a month, okay. If that same mortgage you had to pay 12%, you'd probably have to pay around 2,700 a month, okay. So like literally a 70 grand mortgage costs what a 70 grand mortgage costs at 12% is the same as a 3% 200 grand mortgage, okay. So just thought I'd mention that, because no one mentions this. You know, you hear all these like pensioners and older people, you know, brag about how they bought their first house for 30 grand and ours worth 300, but they don't mention that their interest rate was like 12%, 14%. In the 70s, like 18%. The base rate was like 17.85%, 1972, you know. If that was the case today, house prices would be nowhere near what they are. So, with a like for example, house prices have doubled over the last 10 years or so. Okay, so let's say house prices crashed 19% throughout the UK in between 2009 and 2012, or towards the end of 2008 to 2012, and then between 2012 and 2022 they doubled, okay. But what you've got to realise is in 2009 the base rate went from 6% down to 0.25, okay. It stayed at that rate from 2009 to 2015, went up a little bit to 0.5%, then went down to 0.25 again. 2018 came and they raised the rate to 0.5%, 0.25 to 0.5 again, and then dropped it back down to 0.25. 2020 happened, COVID, they dropped the interest rate to 0.1%, okay. So that's why house prices are like around 9 times the average salary, whereas back in those days it was around 3 times the average salary, okay. So yeah, if you like this video guys, click that thumbs up and subscribe if you want any more. Click that bell notification, you'll be notified when future videos pop up. If you want any more of these, leave a comment, let me know, okay. Let me know your thoughts on this video. See you on the next one. Cheers.